Here comes the countdown.
Hello and welcome to World Tech Fridays.
Greetings.
How
and
are
now
you?
for the two old guys from the Muppets yelling at each other for an hour.
Ah!
Kill the pig.
I enjoy this. I think they're quite humorous.
Oh, they're great. They're my spirit animals.
I love on the Muppets from Outer Space. They're sitting on the couch. Miss Piggy is in a tizzy about something and leaves.
Yeah.
And the one looks at the other and says, "Hey, is breakfast over?" The other replies, "I don't know. Why?" He goes, "I think the bacon just ran out." One of my most
Oh, that's
favorite
great.
ones. They're just comical.
Yeah,
Those
they
guys
were.
are hilarious.
They're. I don't know why we're acting like they're dead. They're still around.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they've been voiced
I
by a
don't
bunch
know
of.
because
Yeah.
Disney's taking out the Muppets 3D from the Walt Disney World.
Listen.
It's ending.
I remember the day they took the Back to the Future ride
Oh, no
from
kidding.
Disneyland. Yeah, that was my favorite ride. And I actually had a T-shirt, which I bought in 2006, and it still fit. I still have it.
Yeah,
It's a bit worn, bit wear, has a bit of wear to it. It's a bit tight these days, being a bit more rotund than
yeah.
it was in 2006. But my wife, Angela, tried to find me a new one. She was
Mhm.
going to get it to me as a Christmas gift. And, there are people on eBay that sell, like, vintage
Oh yeah, absolutely.
vintage like Disneyland
Yep.
memorabilia. Anyway, they had the shirt. They had it in my size, a more fat size, a larger size. They wanted like $200 for.
Holy cow!
My wife was like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "Not for $200."
Yeah, that's crazy. They also retired this year, which was one of my favorite things at Animal Kingdom was A Bug's Life.
Right.
The 4D show because they do like
Yes.
the scent, the bumping up on the seats and all that.
And they
It's,
spray
I
water
thought it
too,
was,
don't they?
yeah,
And
the
like,
misting the
yeah,
water. Yeah. I
yeah,
thought that was hilarious. So it was one of the things I really enjoyed there too.
yeah. I remember I did the Shrek in 4D, and like when Shrek would
Yep.
sneeze at you, they'd spray water at you.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you get covered in snot.
They also got rid of the Dino Land and all that kind of stuff. They're
Yeah.
making some other improvements
Well,
over there.
hopefully, whatever they put in is not a $6,000 experience like the
Yeah. The
cluster that
Starship or
was the
whatever.
Starship or the Star
Yeah.
Wars experience. Like that, in my mind, that made sense. Like that was a cool idea, but at like $750 for 2
But
nights.
if
Not
you're going to charge
6,000.
that much, it needs to be like the Millennium Falcon or something. You
Well, if you're going
can't
to charge
just
that
do
much, it needs
some
to be more than
random
2
crap.
nights. It needs to be like like a week or so.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
Hey,
Eric.
Eric, join us. Hey, Eric.
Hey.
Yeah,
But,
it's awful expensive.
Yeah, $6,000 for 2 nights of experience. I mean, yes, you get to immersed in the Star Wars.
Still,
but I remember I watched a few guys. One of the guys is Bright Sun Films. He does Bright Sun Vacations. He went on it, and like he had like an inside room. It was almost like you were on a cruise ship, but the windows were fake, and it was just a terrible. It wasn't worth the money. Let's put it that way.
Well,
for $6,000.
It was the Magic Christian.
Yes. Here in 2025, you could probably spend $6,000 and meet Harrison Ford if you really wanted.
Right.
So yeah, that's awful expensive for just to stay.
Well, I mean, like for $6,000, you could probably go to Comic-Con, like you said, meet Harrison Ford.
Oh, absolutely.
And then still blow like $4,000 in the casinos.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just I didn't see the value there. Like I can't see people jumping for the experience to do that at that price.
And apparently they lost like $1 billion.
Oh, I believe it.
Right, like that was a $1 billion blunder. It was $1 billion to build that.
Yeah,
what's that?
Well, it wasn't well thought out because like everybody who has nostalgia for Star Wars is gonna want stuff from Star Wars, like I said, the Millennium Falcon or something that you could relate to that you would think would be cool as hell to go and stay on or see, but not just some random. Oh, it looks like a battle cruiser or something inside.
And again, I can see that being a draw, but not at $6,000.
Yeah,
like if you were going to say, for $750 you get 2 nights of accommodations and you get to experience living on a Star Cruiser as a stormtrooper or as a whatever.
Sure.
And you get a couple of little tchotchkes to take home with you. Food is included, or a couple of breakfast is included, or whatever.
Some custom movie of you on the ship with interaction with
and maybe you get to take in a lightsaber training or something, where you get to build your own lightsaber, and maybe you get to keep it.
Sure.
I get that, but $6,000 for what they were offering was just no.
Yeah, no.
Waste of money.
Yeah, who could have predicted that?
And I will point out they destroyed the Back to the Future ride to build that. So
yes,
I'm doubly pissed.
So yeah, who could have not predicted that? It wasn't going to work out.
Anyway, I blame it on Jar Jar Binks myself. I think it's all his fault. Stupid.
Who do we got in the stream today?
Who do we got in the stream? Let's have a gander.
We got a lot of people who are on their way to VCF or in transit and such.
Yeah, so don't play if it's dangerous.
Group today, yeah.
We got Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
EDI. Some fella named Frodo Jedi. I don't know if I trust him. We've got RetroTech Chris, who I know is driving. So RetroTech Chris, be safe there on the road as you travel. As he heads to VCF East. We have iMark. And we have I80386SX.
Oh. On an unrelated thing, Dave, I went this week to pick up my new glasses and my new contacts that I ordered. And I went to try on the new glasses, and it was like, the drunk goggles they put on in school for the DUI training thingy. And I was like, what is going on? So the lady wipes them off, and I try them back on. I was like, I'm still having a problem here. Hold it up to the light. There's a giant thumbprint that's made into the lens on the left side. Like they put the coating and stuff on there, and apparently picked it up while it was still not dry. So they have to be remade. And then my trial contacts for the dailies still haven't come in. And on the computer, when they look it up, it just says, what was it? Past due. I was like, well, obviously you don't have them. So yeah, it's been an adventure. So I'm waiting at least another 2 weeks. They said.
Yeah, Garth says I blame Dave. It's definitely Dave's fault.
Dave.
And I blame Garth.
It'd have been cheaper. It'd have been cheaper and quicker to fly out to Dave and go to his place over there.
We all truly know who is to blame. It's Squawkers.
It's gotta be.
Yeah,
it's always the evil bird.
Yeah.
No one ever suspects the evil bird.
That and the Furbies.
Yeah.
That and the Furbies.
Anyway, cool. So yeah, it's been one hell of a week. I know, Frank, you've had a very busy week. Yeah. I've had a very busy week. Eric, how's everything in your little corner of hell? Is Michigan frozen over yet?
No, but well, one good thing happened this week. Our second choice for a contract position to do data migration accepted, and probably is going to pass the background check.
Oh, exciting!
Which is good.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Not going to say anything about our first choice.
No, but does that mean you get
put 2 and 2 together there?
Yeah.
So you migrating data from OS2 to Vista?
No, ME.
Fortran 60 to Fortran 90.
Almost as bad. Power Builder version 9.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And 6 applications. And they're going to modern architecture. So
okay.
So I did a contract for the Department of Energy several years back, and I built SharePoint and InfoPath forms for them, and it was for whenever it wasn't classified, so it was for whenever people wanted to present a research paper or write or co-author a research.
But then we realized it was classified, and Frank.
Yes, and they yanked his clearance, so he's gone.
Sorry, it apparently was classified.
Yeah, but they had to submit a form and get approvals from department people, and they had to review what they were going to publish and all that crap. It was a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, it's the Department of Inefficiencies.
Yeah. Well, the craziest part was basically they paid me to sit and watch Netflix most of the time, because there were 5 or 6 of us that were on the project, and for the parts that I did and designed, they give me a set of specifics of what they want and what they need me to do, and then once I'm done with that, I have to sit and wait for everybody else to get all their stuff done. Right. And then we have a meeting on it and make sure everything's good. And if it's not, then I still wait because everybody else got to redo their stuff, and it's not what they wanted. And
No.
yeah, so that was a
Classic
really
bureaucracy.
boring
Good
thing.
times.
It was boring as hell.
Good times.
So yeah.
So, Ron, thanks
Ron.
for joining us. How are you?
Hey, things are great.
Things are great. Excellent.
Things, I mean, as great as they could be.
So, were you able to get that plutonium you were looking for to get the
Yeah.
car going?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
got it
Worst
all,
worst
got
thing
it all
for a
squared
Friday.
away.
Worst thing for a Friday. Run out
It
of
is.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I mean, it's not like you can just go to your local drugstore and get it.
I know, right?
It's
You
true.
gotta get it from some. What were they? Lebanese? Is that
They're
right?
Lebanese.
Libyans.
Libyans,
Those are
right.
the ones that wanted it. You got
Right.
it from the government facility.
Right. He was stealing it for them, wink, wink, but he was keeping
No,
it
no,
up.
no, no. They gave him the plutonium.
To build a bomb, I think it
Oh,
was.
was it?
Build-
Okay.
Yeah, they gave
Yeah.
him the plutonium.
But he did it for, he used it for the
But-
car
but
instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he what he ended up doing is he gave them a shoddy bomb casing full of old
Yes.
pinball parts.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Absolutely.
Classic.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
That's
Now we're gonna have
don't
to rewatch
worry.
it,
I've seen it several hundred times.
so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Ron is
Hey,
the
Jackson. Okay.
Ron is
Thanks,
the AI for just that movie. You can ask him any
Yes.
question about it.
Any
He
question?
will answer it.
I
It-
can
you know-
answer lots of questions about it.
It's as if he were, like a website, like the Internet Movie Database or something.
Or Alta Vista, if you will.
Yeah, you should make something like that. I think
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. If only there was a website that had all the information about all the movies on it.
I may or may not also have information about Ron on it.
It might.
You know, I tried to convince Blockbuster of that, but I'm still waiting on the call.
So I saw
Yeah.
the best thing today that I've never seen before. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Bruce Campbell fan.
Mhm.
And I did not realize he did a bunch of cheesy Subaru commercials in the late 90s, early 2000s. His Subaru that he actually drove with him and his wife crashed, and he was so impressed they were able to walk away from it that he was the one who promoted or reached out to them to say, "Hey, can I do some Subaru commercials? Because these things are awesome." And so yeah, if you go out on the internet, you will find there are Bruce Campbell and his wife do these sort of like cheesy, "Hi, I'm Bruce Campbell and I'm his wife" kind of thing. And anyway,
That's awesome.
this is our car, and we rolled it 4 times, and this is the window we crawled out of after we crashed our Subaru Legacy.
Only it's more like, and right here is the window we crawled out of when we got he's got that thing in his voice, you know.
I was just impressed that it wasn't a Delta 88.
Yeah.
I was expecting this to be like, "This is my Subaru Forester," and it was just going to be like a pale canary yellow Delta 88
Yeah.
behind it.
Been in like every movie. Yeah.
So
Every
what's new
Sam
with
Raimi
Ron?
movie.
What's new with you? How was your week?
It was just fine. I actually I just got done at work because I stayed late trying to finish up a project, and then got home and very quickly grabbed something to eat, and I had to get a little bit of a brain dump from the family on some things, and then now I'm here. But no, generally this week has been mostly okay. It's been wait a minute, the show is on? Yeah, I guess it is. But yeah, basically it's just kind of going through and finishing up a couple things, cleaned up after ye old Marcintosh, and
Yes.
I've been working on a couple of other little projects. I got some stuff I need to start for Frank, and yeah, that's
I've got
been
to dig
kind
out
of
my
it.
Apple too.
Yeah, I got a video where it's too far away to get, but I restored a Apple StyleWriter printer. And
Oh,
stuff,
awesome.
so,
Oh yes, that's
yeah.
right there. I watched that.
I got to pull that down and get it going.
Oh
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
for Apple
And
too.
this.
Or the 2GS, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice computer.
It is. Well, it's exciting, and I guess for anybody who doesn't know, Marcintosh is over, obviously, because we're in the month of April, and the month of April brings
April
May
apples.
showers,
May showers and
April apples,
taxes, yeah,
Mhm.
and April apples, yes. So,
April apples.
anybody have anything they want to let out of the bag? Any projects they are planning for April apples? You doing anything fun? I'm just going to play with my Apple
Yeah.
too.
Well, I have a Christmas present I need to get installed,
Oh,
and that's the the video adapter.
ah,
Oh,
yes,
awesome! Yes, yes.
yes.
So I have to get that going.
Oh,
Yes,
is
the-
that
I've seen
the
those on
the-
jcm-1.com.
The A2AD.
yes.
yeah?
Yeah.
Which you guys
and
can find.
Keep in mind that
Yeah.
that does not support 2GS video modes. So
no,
you're
it's
gonna-
for
if you're gonna
the
put it in
it's for the
2GS.
Apple
Okay.
IIe.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Because
And
Eric,
then,
did Frank send you an Apple IIe? Do I remember?
2C
2C,
actually,
right,
which
And
is
a 2C.
upstairs, and I still haven't powered it on. So that's another project for this month.
Mm.
And then
Nice.
the 2GS, I'm going to do some HyperCard.
Nice. It's got the best color version of HyperCard.
Yes, it does.
Is that because it's the only version?
No, there's actually a hokey workaround, crappy way of doing color in HyperCard.
Official. It's the only official color HyperCard.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was color from the start. So
Right.
it's also an older version of HyperCard. It's more like a 1.1
Okay.
clone, so it's got limitations.
Nice. And so we can expect Adventure to be rewritten for it, correct?
In some form, maybe. I don't know.
He's gonna put a video overlay card in his 2GS and then just like pump the Mac video through,
Right.
and it'll be technically on from in maybe.
I'll do something that's a small version of it, because I'm still struggling with the current version.
A quick shout out to Gareth for spelling color correctly. Thank you, Gareth.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, we're not paying by the letter anymore.
That's right.
So might as well.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I also have a 2C that Frank sent me, and I have yet to turn on. I've tested it; it works. I've turned it on once, but I believe he's also sending me some sort of USB to power adapter for it,
Yep.
which is exciting.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's from our friend Javier.
Javier.
Over on
Here's what folks need to just make a replacement internal power supply. That would be really
Yes.
great. Modern replacement internal power supply.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a good project idea.
Yeah.
If only somebody was working on such a thing.
No.
Nobody's working on it.
No, I got like 4 other irons in the fire right now.
What's another iron?
I guess.
You can't
I
spell
just,
iron
I
without
just
Ron.
messaged my team. We're on it.
You can't spell iron without the word Ron. So
It's
think
true.
about that.
It's true.
Gut Bomb, check your Discord.
Well, I mean, I would imagine there would be a way to make. Would you be able to make an ATX Pico ATX?
Yeah,
work with
it's
that?
Yeah,
small.
you probably could.
It's small enough to fit in there. Just keep in
Yeah.
mind though that anything you do, I mean, if you're just putting another power brick out the back, I don't know what it accomplishes.
Right.
I mean, I think what would be nice is a engineered board that went inside that just took mains voltage and sort of like the Apple IIc Plus. So it's possible to do. There could be some heat concerns. There could be a lot of things to kind of think about, but
Tech Knight's working on my Duo.
oh yeah,
Ooh.
Tech Knight worked on my Duo, and it when it came back to me, it's great. It still has the world's worst keyboard. So
Is it a trio now?
There's no fix for that.
there's no fix for the Duo keyboard, but
Wait, it has an ADB port, doesn't it?
but maybe one
Could
day.
you just plug a external in?
No.
No?
It's
Okay.
none of them. You have to absolutely add a micro dock, and then after you put the micro dock on, that'll have like ADB and all that. So
Oh, okay, gotcha.
it's
There's a parade of dogs.
Was
I
that
know there
dogs?
were two small dogs. Had to go check the laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
on the topic of power supplies, I'll share
Yes.
something briefly. So we have the Power Pig, which has this little
Mhm.
pig with a lightning bolt here.
Yes, not in any way encroaching on any sport drink
That's right.
logos.
Right.
Or,
Never heard
Yes.
of such things.
Nobody looks at a pig and goes, "That's a majestic beast."
That's right.
We should
Very
label
majestic.
some sports
Like
beverage.
a very radiant.
Although, in fairness, who looked at a gator and went, yeah, energy drink?
It's got big teeth, right?
That's right.
well, I think that's mostly just where that started.
Yeah, it's the team. Yeah,
It's very Florida kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, have a replacement power supply. This will work for the Commodore 64, 128, and all the Amigas as far as the portable ones, like the 500, 600, 1200, as a replacement power supply for those, as well as several other systems that do either 5, 12, or 9 volt. We
Nice.
made a modular DIN connector on the end. A standard Nemo standard
C13.
3-prong plug. In the middle is a fuse, and then
Mm-hmm.
a actual toggle switch that lights up to let you know whether it's on or off.
Nice.
But the modularity of this is we can customize multiple power cables that can connect onto this.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you could use the one power supply for multiple systems.
Mhm.
You would just swap out the cable on the end to whatever system you're wanting to power. But yeah, Gut Bomb designed this
Mhm.
power supply shell
That's lovely.
for this. So yeah, there's two.
My
power
next question
supplies
is,
going inside of here.
I have
Love
a
it.
question about it. How much epoxy are you planning on filling it with?
None.
Because
It's already
then it's
large.
not. It's not
You want
really.
it heavy
full
enough
power
to chuck
supply,
it
then I'm
in
sorry.
somebody. Yeah. And we do have Gut Bomb put out plenty of venting,
Perfect.
and it's actually made from PETG.
Mhm.
Nice.
My
So-
people call it maize, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So where does the fan go?
Yeah. Well, it's really not necessary. The power supplies that we chose are one is a Meanwell power supply that's hospital grade, that works really well. It doesn't put off a ton of heat. The 9-volt one really doesn't put off a ton of heat as well. It's for 9-volt AC for that one.
Cool.
But yeah, that'll be coming to jcm-1.com here shortly.
Nice.
But yeah, Gut Bomb finally finished the designs on the power supply. We had several iterations of this, and we have the final version now and printed it in the PETG just to make sure
It's amazing, Frank, how similar it is to my Realtek portable CB radio.
Yeah, we just need an antenna.
And
So,
an
yeah, that would
extension
be-
cord.
Oh yeah, you could plug an antenna right off the
Yeah,
end
see,
of the
there you
port here. Yeah, just plug it
It-
in.
go. Dices it,
Nice.
chops
Yeah.
it, Julian's.
So yeah, it came out pretty nice. Like I said, it's comparable size to a. Honestly, this is very similar to my Dell Precision laptop.
It
power
looks
supply.
almost the same footprint as an Xbox 360 power supply.
Yes, very very similar as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, super light. Even with the power supplies in it, it's not as heavy as the normal power supply. It came out really nice in PETG.
Awesome.
It's a little bit shiny, but that's just the material, the
Yeah.
PETG. We just
So-
wanted it to be
Yeah, you know
something
me.
that was going to be sturdy and durable.
Well,
Thanks,
just-
Javier.
If
Just tie a-
JC is listening, he's been after me for a replacement C64 power
It's
supply.
coming. It's
It's
coming.
coming. See, we told you. You didn't believe it. We told you.
You just
Yep,
need to
it's
tie a
coming. It's
rope to
almost
it and
done.
drag it behind your truck for a day, and it'll take that shine off.
But I'm
Yes.
going to try and assemble 4 or 6 of them or so this week and see if I can get them sent off to get on the store.
Nice.
But yeah, there's several different versions of the cable. You can buy whichever version of the cable or all the versions of the cable that support the systems you got.
Now, say I wanted to power my C64 about 25 feet that way. Can I get a nice long cord?
Yeah, we charge by the foot, just like the fruit roll up. Fruit by the foot. We got power by the foot.
Power by the foot.
Power by the foot. So yeah, that's awesome. And
Awesome.
that's coming. So speaking
Cool.
of power supplies, that is something we got going.
Mhm.
That's deadly. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Yep.
Hi, Garth. Who else? We got a couple of people joined us since. So Big Steve's here. We've got Gut Bomb, Francois, Javier's here.
Yep.
So, and the Tech Night. Thanks to everybody for joining us this evening.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Tech nights at VCF East. Have you guys
Yes.
talked
Oh, wow.
about VCF
Awesome.
East yet?
We haven't yet. No, we
Nope.
were. It was on our
Well, I'm
list
not
of
trying to
things
jump
talk
the
about.
gun. Not trying to
Do it.
rush
Do
the
it now.
Christmas season, as it
Go
were.
for it. Listen, we'll listen to Mariah Carey's Christmas music in
Well,
August if we have to.
There's no time like the future unless it's Back to the Future. So
Mhm.
go for it.
Oh, he's not there this year, but our crew is, he says.
Yeah, no, we've got friends there. Oh, I'm not there this year, but our crew is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. All right.
Chris,
Cool.
Retrotech Chris is
Sorry.
on the way to the
Sorry.
VCF East. So,
Oh,
yeah.
is he headed that way? That's
Yep.
good. That's good.
Yep.
Well, I regret not going. I've been the last couple of years, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very fun event. Problem is, I've got a work conference that I've got to go to next week. That there's
The
not enough
pesky work
time.
thing.
I know there's not enough time to go to that and then get back and get prepped and then hit the road.
Gotcha.
So it's it might have been possible, but that's a lot of travel in
Yeah.
like because I'm going to be gone nearly a week for this conference. So
Mhm.
it's a lot. But
well, that's no fun. But I mean, you got to work, so it is what it is.
you don't have to.
You don't have
Seemingly, there's a lot of people that make it without that have figured out a way to not.
Sure.
So
Sure.
good for them.
Yes, they've played the system. Good job. Yeah. So VCF East, I know that it's a little bit different than Midwest.
Yes.
So
it is.
what would you say are the biggest differences, if you will, for
One's in the
anybody?
east, the other's in the Midwest.
It's true. It's you can
Coast,
tell.
Thanks, Dad.
You can tell by their locale.
Right.
Actually, I would say probably the biggest thing that the biggest difference in terms of events is I would say East has a different flavor than Midwest.
Mhm.
East is very heavy on talks and classes and demonstrations and things like that because Glitchworks runs classes and other people run classes too. It might just be soldering. It might be doing some sort of very specific technical kind of thing. And then you get more people that are more East Coast there because there's a lot of people that just can't swing it to make it to Midwest.
Mhm.
So you get to see some of their exhibits, some of their stuff. And the nice thing about the site is that it's not just a conference, like it's it's not just like a computer show that's the only thing to do there. They also have it's a retired military base, so there are multiple museums there.
Cool.
There is a computer museum, of course, but there's also like a maritime museum. There is there's sort of a people that were first in like the military that they have memorabilia and things like that. They have rooms that are set up that are just it'll be memorabilia from like a certain conflict or something like that. So if you are a military history expert or something like that, it's a lot of interest. They have a radio museum there. They used to have it was like a museum of like model trains and things like that. I
Cool.
think
Very
that those guys actually moved out. I think they went somewhere else. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look at there. And also there are like, full-size military vehicles and stuff like that on site that you can kind of go and look at. And there's just a lot of things to see. And it's really cool. The radio museum and stuff. They have rooms set up that look like period living rooms. Like this looks like a 1930s front room with like a city or a settee and all that and kind of things set up. And like a big Bakelite radio sitting there that has been modified with modern stuff because you can go up and press a button and then you can listen to like Fibber McGee and Molly, or you can listen to The Shadow, or just listen to news and stuff, and just sit there with people and just kind of have the experience of what it was like to just sit around and listen to the radio.
Cool.
And that was something that with the people I went with, the first year that I went. It was kind of like everything spun down at the end of the night, but people continue to hang out and kind of chat and do stuff as you do. And I went with a group of people, and so we just sat in the living room and listened to the radio and chatted and stuff. And then Steve was ready to go, and everybody was ready to go home, and we took off. So it's a neat site. It's a smaller event, so it is more. It has kind of a like a more like a close knit kind of feel compared to Midwest. Midwest is like drinking out of the fire hose. But there's a lot of people that come and sell. There's a lot of that is another difference, is that you're not supposed to really, unless you have a special arrangement with the event, you're not supposed to sell things at your table. You are supposed to utilize like if you're like somebody like the Tech Dungeon, which you should check out their website, techdungeon.xyz. Those guys, if you because they make a lot of 3D printed things, they make custom controllers, they make LED signs, all kinds of stuff that's got a very retro theme. You should check their stuff out. It's pretty cool. But they like they'll sell things at their table, but they're like a vendor like that. But if you're somebody that's like, oh, I got like all these Dells and all this like whatever machine,
image writer printers,
and you got like a bunch of stuff like that. They don't want you selling that at your table. They want you selling it at consignment, which is also kind of nice because consignment has got a steady flow of traffic all day where people kind of just go through and check things out. And basically they sell it for you. They keep a small part of the profit, and then at the end of the show you just come and get your money. Nice. You don't have to sit at your table all day. You can get out and enjoy things and do stuff and talk to
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And but there's a lot of neat stuff. There are some East Coast folks that bring big iron to this event. There's a gentleman that has a PDP 11 that basically just kind of it's like a mini computer and with a camera attached to it, and it will take a picture, and there's an intermediary piece of equipment, and I think it's just a modern laptop, but it will take the picture and then it will basically transcode it into something that the PDP 11 can understand, and then it will print it on like a giant band printer that's using like 12-inch green bar. And so at work I've got a picture of me, like a selfie picture, like it's printed in ASCII, but it's they just do stuff like that, and that's kind of you got to live near the equipment, to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to drag something.
Tech Night's right. It's got like a different feel to it. And it's tough to, I mean, some of the reasons I said, but it's it does have a little bit of a different feel.
Cool.
So I would say if you happen to be in the neighborhood of Wall, New Jersey, either for the next, I think the show closes at 8. For the next, well, it's already closed. Sorry. I forgot about time zones. But the show runs tomorrow all day. Sunday is definitely things start to kind of spin down a little bit. So but I think it officially closes at like noon tomorrow or 1 p.m. tomorrow or something. Because you'll start seeing people pack up. But go and pay the admission, go to the event, see everything that you can see and all the other stuff that there is to see on site, and come back next year.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time. And we've got a lot of friends there this weekend with displays and things like that. We've got a lot more people that are kind of had to send their regards. Just because it just didn't work out time-wise, but no, Tech Night's right. Saturday is the main day. That's the day when you can see big panels and all kinds of fun stuff. So cool. It's pretty good.
That's exciting. I look forward to someday attending all the BCFs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would like to go to one of the California events at some point, just because you're then close enough you can go do other fun California things.
Right, for sure. I think we talked about in the past having like doing up like a group to
the
go.
grand tour,
Cool,
and
yeah.
I'd still love to go do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting it together and figuring out when everybody's free to actually do that. And it
Yeah.
would be really good to do that at a time that would be kind of maybe close to one of these other events.
Yeah.
The trouble is, though, most of that stuff doesn't take any place anywhere near where we would actually need to go for that. That's more San Francisco kind of area of stuff.
Right.
But you can take Caltran up there. It's additional expense. So
Yeah. Death by 1,000 cuts sometimes.
yeah, it's you gotta just figure out how to make it all work. And maybe one day we will.
Maybe.
Yep.
I look forward to. I'm excited. VCF Montreal has been announced and has been verified, I guess, or
yes,
it is happening.
Yes, it is happening.
Looking forward to that in January of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun.
Yeah. I got a little bit of advice on that event. As a matter of fact, if you are thinking about, it's in Montreal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's about an hour outside of Montreal, but yeah.
If you're thinking about going, do not fly
Big Steve.
Into Montreal.
Yeah.
Instead, what you want to do is there is an airport that's in Upper New York State that is like a 30-minute drive to the border.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you fly there, and then you rent a vehicle or carpool with people, and you go the rest of the way. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's by me.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm going to fly in and fly out, but yeah, it should be a time. I'm excited to meet some of my Quebecois brethren and see what's going on in the great state. And apparently this year is a focus, which makes sense, on Canadian computing.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing a lot of
the Canadian Computer Collector.
And, yeah, maybe Dan from Canadian Computer Collector, and maybe seeing some Hyperion, seeing there's going to be a whole setup on Naboo. I believe the Naboo boys are going.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Should be fun, and always look forward to meeting like-minded individuals.
Cool.
So yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So what's going on in the news? It's been a couple of weeks, I think. Did we do last week? I don't even remember. Last week was a blur. We had our science fiction convention, and I was burnt out by the time Sunday rolled around, and then to have to get up Monday morning and go to work. It was basically, I feel like I've been working for essentially 2 weeks straight, which kind of is true, because those conventions, which I'm sure everybody here in this group and many of our people online here know is you're on the entire time. There is no off time. Except for the 10 or 15 minutes you might sneak away to have lunch or to use the bathroom. You were pretty much on, especially if you're the subject matter expert for something. And being the leader of our motley local retro crew, I was the guy on call for most of the answering of the questions and the discussion of things. So it was a very tiring.
Ryan, if you just go into the stall and sit down, 2 birds, 1 stone, and just
that's right.
Eat your sandwich like an emo kid back in the day.
I could tell you what's going on with the news.
What's that?
Nintendo's being very mean by
That
charging $80 to
Nintendo
$90 a game.
$80 or $90 a game.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2. The games are $80 for the digital download and $90 for the physical game.
Which I guess the delayed the introduction of the Switch 2 distribution in the US.
Yeah, they're also only selling to the to people who've had a subscription to Nintendo Online for a minimum of 12 months.
Oh, that's me.
50 hours of game time.
And at 50 hours of gameplay, yeah.
That's for pre-order, though. That's to try to cut down on scalpers, like what happened with PS5.
Yeah,
which I get. Yeah.
Well, that was also pandemic.
Yeah.
The PS5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like they could backfill the demand afterwards. They were like, all right, we got all these. Oh no, there's a pandemic.
Now
And the supply chain is gone.
I don't think that I think that's only if you buy directly from them. But if you buy through like Best Buy, GameStop, things like that, then I don't think the requirements are to have the account and all that.
No, but I don't think the numbers their numbers are as high as what they have on hand.
Yeah.
Versus from buying directly from Nintendo.
Yep.
My son has not said anything about it, so
Okay.
Well,
I
it's
just-
$450 just for the Switch.
I saw that. Or
Yeah, if
500 if you want the game.
Bundle, yeah, which is a good
Yeah.
deal because it saves you $40 over buying it, by
Sure.
itself. So
Yeah.
I could save 500 right away.
That's right. Just don't even get it.
It's true.
And not all Nintendo Switch 1 games are compatible with the Switch 2.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Okay.
only select tracks.
Classic Nintendo.
The
Yep,
the
that's what I was
Switch
gonna say.
version of Adventure is probably a decade out.
Fair enough. Well, I'm pretty sure that all the first party Nintendo stuff has gotta work. It's like Breath of the Wild. I saw that they did have like some of the launch titles are basically just like
Remasters, which is
remasters but that's what they did between Wii U and
Yeah.
Sure.
Switch. So
I mean, how many versions of Resident Evil came out for the Wii U? When it
Well,
was like
it's
the
like-
only thing they had was like iZombie and or Wii U Zombie and Resident Evil.
If you
Yeah.
look side by side at the Breath of the Wild footage for Switch 1 and Switch 2, you could see the difference. But like
sure.
really resolution's probably it. There's more pixels. Like
Mhm.
they didn't go and re-render any of the artwork or anything, at least from
Yeah.
my perspective. Like it just looks the same. They just have higher resolution.
I thought that it was because the old console 720p, the new console's 1080p, but then
Yes.
it like
If you dock,
games
it's
that if you
4K.
dock, it's 4K.
yes.
Yeah.
Select
And you
games,
get the
yeah.
I think is it OLED? I believe it is. Is it?
Mhm. I don't
I
know.
I know the Switch.
I know that the second Switch
yes,
that came
was
out
OLED.
has got the better screen, and that's
Yeah.
the one I got for OB.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've got the Switch. The first one.
I feel
Mhm.
like it's like anything Nintendo. It'll everybody will buy it at this price that are going to buy it, and then
yeah,
6 months time there'll
Just
be a
wait.
price drop,
Yep.
yeah.
and it'll
Yep.
settle in probably at the $4.99 or $3.99 price point where it'll sit. So,
I mean, honestly, you're better off doing something if you don't already have like a Steam Deck or something like that,
Mhm.
which you have way more options as far as games go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I did think that the open world on the new Mario Kart is cool. I think that's a neat concept, but for as much as they're charging, like
so
it's not
what
that
you're saying
cool.
is it's Mario Kart GTA.
Yes, pretty much.
Gotcha.
But so basically, the way that they demoed it is you can Mario Kart with friends online on a Discord-like server.
Okay.
As part of the new Switch chat, which is only in open public access for a year. Then they're going to charge extra for it.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Well,
Yeah,
First one's free, kid.
yeah, get you hooked. But anyway, something I thought was funny that they brought back essentially was the camera. I think that's funny. We'll see how that goes.
Hmm.
But basically the racing was kind of cool, but the whole open world concept is you drive between the different areas. It's kind of like Zootopia, where you have the different biomes essentially.
Yeah.
So you're driving through the open world to get from one race to the next.
Okay.
And I guess there's 24 racers, which is a lot. So compared to the old Mario Karts, you got 24.
On that same note, a bit of a sad news in Nintendo world this week. The Louvre has decided to stop their 3DS audio tours after what I can only imagine has been 20 years of "Is this still a thing?" tours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being in Paris like in 2010.
Mhm.
They were using them then, and I'm going like, why am I getting a Nintendo DS?
Yeah.
Right. So the fact that they lived for so long, I'm impressed. Like, I guess I haven't read the article completely, but I would imagine getting parts and fixing these things is probably getting to be more tedious than it is beneficial. And I mean, a 20-year-old platform's got to be just itching for updates. I assume they're going to go phone based with an app of some sort.
Well,
Right.
to be fair, they
To be
were
fair.
using
be
the
fair.
drive-through theater, things they hung off your window
Yeah,
with a
before
long cable, and you had to carry those around with
they were
you.
heavy.
So,
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you see things like the DS, and maybe we could talk about this from our own experience, but you see things like the DS being used for an audio tour. Can any of you think of anything off the top of your head where you were like a weird piece of tech that wasn't necessarily made for the thing it was made for being used for something else? Ron?
I think one of the very best things, and Tom Barber has a lot more knowledge about this than I do, is that the IMAX projectors, a lot of like early, or I guess some of the series IMAX projectors used a Palm Pilot to
Really?
control a certain part of their operation.
Cool.
And
No kidding.
eventually you can't really get Palm Pilots anymore. So now there is a Palm Pilot emulator on what looks kind of like an iPad or something that they use that to control
That's awesome.
the piece of equipment. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No, not specific.
But it's neat when stuff like that shows up. You'll see like an old, I always use an example from the automotive world. Is oftentimes you'll see somebody take an old Toyota Tercel and turn it into a sawmill. So you'll be in the middle of the woods on a hike. You'll hear a sawmill running. You'll go out and there'll be the front end of an old Toyota Tercel running a sawmill that's just been sat there for 20 or 30 years. It's neat when people reuse technology, but when people think outside the box for applied applications for things, it's kind of cool. And that's what that Nintendo DS at the Louvre kind of reminded me of. It's like that Nintendo definitely didn't start out going, this will be a great use for this device.
Yeah, it's people figure out other stuff to try. Well,
I would say it's also a price point. If you think about like 2004, where were you going to find something that's interactive and has audio capabilities you can hold in your hand that is fairly rugged and durable, because obviously kids use these things.
Yeah,
that costs $200.
Yeah,
there really wasn't anything.
Right.
So that makes sense. I get it. It's cool, but sad to see that they're shutting it down. Hopefully somebody archives it. I hope that there is a ROM dump of that software somewhere, so that in 20 or 30 years you too can go back to the Louvre with your walk around tour, and
on
nothing
your
matches up
Nintendo
anymore.
DS. Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, it's pretty fun
for sure. On a little more concerning note, and this sort of is concerning for anybody who has freely given up their DNA to anybody. 23andMe is filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's happening to everyone's DNA? That's been the big question.
Well, I mean, and the thing that it doesn't concern me personally, because I never used their service.
No,
but,
I've never either.
The suggestion that you should go delete your data, and I'm like, you're not really deleting your data.
No.
Once they have it, they have it.
Yeah.
I think it's more about that if the last person out the door before the liquidation, make sure to purge, I mean, legally you have a recourse to say, I want you to delete my records. I want you to delete this information and things like that. But I don't know exactly like how strict they were with the use of that before they decided to go out of business.
Well, I mean, they were hacked about 6 months ago, wasn't it? And all the data was taken anyway. So I suppose it's already out there.
Here's the thing. A lot of those sites, those ancestry.coms and things like that, all they have is like newspaper articles, like things that like scanned into the internet and have been OCR'd, and the big relational database to figure out like the connections between those things. If you sent them your DNA to figure out some information about your family or about your heredity or genetic traits, disease, how sort of I forget the word I'm looking for, but basically like how apt you are to maybe contract a certain disease.
Genetic
that information is kind of out there in other databases and probably has been for a very, very long time. I think what you'll realize is if you do I know a lot of people privacy hawks will be like, it's like, oh, if you send them your DNA, then now they got your DNA, and it's like, well, they probably already have your DNA. The people you really got to worry about probably already have that information.
Yep.
And
the big thing, though, the big problem for a lot of people, and there's a couple of YouTube personalities who've harped on this, is the fact that so your sister sends her DNA. Now they have yours.
Or percentage of it anyway.
They have a percentage of it.
A high percentage of it.
Yes.
Right. Or your mom does, and now they have both your your sister and your brother. Genetic genealogy is huge, and especially when it comes to companies like oh god, I'm trying to remember the name of the company now. It sounds like something that's like a
Aperture Laboratories.
Yeah, it sounds like something like that. It's like it sounds like something straight out of like the bad. Remember in Buffy they had that like demonic law firm. That's what it sounds like. The name sounds like Ram something, Wolfram Hart or something. It's the name of the company. Anyway, there's a company that does genetic genealogy for law enforcement. And that's how
it's like any record. I mean, well, here's the deal. It's you get pulled over by the cops, they can take your DNA right then and there. It doesn't matter what they're like, we need to do a swab test, something like that. We're gonna test you for whatever. This isn't conspiracy, this is just the fact of the matter. And laws are set up in such a way that they can check you for genetic markers to connect you with anything else that they're just kind of curious about. Keep in mind that you sitting there right now, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people out there that you already share between 6 and 10% of your DNA with. So it's, I mean, just because that's how that's how humans work. So it's it's not as if it's super conclusive. They can track it down. They can be like, okay, here's this family where we've got all these genetic markers and things look really good. We could start looking there, and if you're guilty, they're going to find you. But it won't be because of DNA. It'll be because you left like your business card at the crime scene. So
well, in some of the cases that I've watched, it's been they've narrowed it down, and it's 23andMe is a great example. A sister, you did 21andMe or 23andMe, and their DNA was in the database, and they realized that this murderer shared a parental connection.
That's how they found the Golden State Killer.
And they were like, okay, well, are any of your do you have a brother? Yes. Is he still alive? Yes. Do you only have one? Yes. Got to be the killer.
You go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
they were a little motivated, though.
They
were a little motivated. They weren't checking your DNA to get you on your student loans.
No, not yet, at least.
I think the suggestion that you remove it is mostly to remove consent. More than anything else is the reason why.
Absolutely.
But in the case of bad actors, consent doesn't matter, right? So
of course,
that have already gotten the hack has already released the data. It's out there on the dark web. It is what it is, right? But anyway,
I just recently sent my DNA off for to not to 23andMe because I'm trying to do more research about my dad's family, because basically just a generation or two back and then everything stops. There's no family history. Like there's just a couple of news articles and things like that. And even he was a unreliable narrator, because it's like in one census. Actually, I'll tell you what, census information is super handy too. And it's like, but starting in like the 1890s and we did the census like way further back than that, but there's some of that old census stuff that'll ask you like which side of the Civil War you fought on.
Right.
Well, and before a particular census, I don't remember the exact year, they only counted the number of children. They didn't have names or anything, so that made it very complicated. There was a fire that destroyed a lot of census data from one of the decades.
Yeah, it's like
So there's
1860s or
I
1870s.
was gonna say,
something.
was
There's
it
a gap
1812? Because I'm sorry about
No,
that.
no,
No, it wasn't 1812.
We didn't do it that far back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
it's 1840s or something
yeah.
is the very first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also did a lot of research on family history, and I've gotten to the point now. I exhausted all the the usual things. You have to go dig up local county records, like land and tax records and
Yep.
things
Which
like
is
that.
probably not digitized at this point.
Microfiche.
And
Right.
it costs money to have to gain access to that.
Yeah.
Not only having to travel there, or you could pay somebody who's a local researcher to do it.
Yeah.
But it does get
I-
pretty expensive.
Oh yeah. The historical societies for the given county that they love a donation to
Oh, yes.
just streamline that process. Sorry, 1790 was the very first year that the United States did a census.
Yeah.
And Eric's right. It was very kind of slipshod what type of
Yep.
information that they were getting at that point. But
You
Yeah,
live
I-
in this house. Yes. Thank
I
you.
was able to trace back to 1795 and 1814 on either side of my family, and then I lose track. So
yeah, I think a lot of it's you had to be a person of means
Yes.
past a certain point. The only people you're going to see are going to be, and it may not even be like a direct ancestor. It'll be like the most prominent person from that family. So it'll be like I've got a couple of like, and it's all like Lord such and such, Lady such and such. It's it's like employers, like the people that your ancestors worked for. That's how you end up with some of that.
yeah,
Yep.
and the farther you go back, the weaker the
Yeah.
data is, and people that believe, there's very few people that really can, but people that believe they've gone back to, oh, I'm part of this
Charlemagne.
14th century, royal whatever.
Right.
You're probably not.
No.
Yeah.
So
I think everybody likes to think that they
Yes.
had something going on
Yeah.
like that, but more than likely you were
The only way to make that 100% true is DNA.
you were Alexander the
Right.
Great's chief eunuch. It was that was
I'm descended from his eunuchs.
Yeah,
You were King Charles.
You're kind of a sneaky eunuch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just a really good tuck job. I'm just saying.
Well,
Talking to
Now-
high pitched voice all the time.
Eric, now that you ruined that for me, I'm gonna cancel my Priory of Scion membership for the next year. Yeah,
Oh no.
I guess I don't need to pay those dues anymore.
Yeah.
So, but it can vary. There's, there's
Sure.
people that, I never did genetic analysis of my mitochondrial or YX DNA stuff.
Yeah.
It was just the common stuff. I forget, autosomal DNA.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was part of a medical study, I got the raw data.
Mhm.
And there, if you find the right halotypes, you might be able to find descendants from a particular family line.
Right.
If you're lucky enough to have that kind of aberration in your genetic makeup. But
Sure.
other than that, it gets really hard.
I mostly did it because nobody did it for me.
Yeah.
I did it for my son because I do not know if any of this will be important to him one day or matter at all.
Yeah.
But I just figure I'll put in, while some of these people are still living, I'll put in the effort to track down who they are and what they were doing.
Yeah.
That's the key. Talk to family
Yep.
and talk to people that are still around, because once they're gone, they're gone. The stories
Yeah.
are gone.
And
I had a great
trust but verify, of
Oh
course.
yes,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
but you want to get those stories.
Yeah.
I had a great aunt that knew an awful lot about the family and stuff, but I was like 12 years old when she died, so
Yeah. Mhm.
never had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the other side of that is as you get older, tell the stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I
Yes,
have.
you have it documented, I'm sure, but I even thinking my own father passed away a couple what was it, a little over a year ago, and I just remember some of his stories, and I'm like, okay, I got to remember to tell those to my nieces and any of my extended family. Just even stories that are just anecdote stories that aren't necessarily true family history. It's just even some of the lore is nice to talk
It's
about.
interesting stuff.
Right.
We don't have a lot of objects from either side of my family. It's not something that, was really, we come from a long line of farmers. I mean, the oldest implement that I inherited was a 1942 tractor. So
Do you still have the tractor?
No, I got rid of it. I was in college and it was kind of hard to park.
What
Didn't
was
go
it?
very fast
Massey
either.
Ferguson, Ford?
It was a Ford.
Okay.
Was it a Minneapolis Moline? Actually, there's a tractor show that's at the state or the district fair every year, and that's one of my favorite things is to go look at all these old tractors. So.
Yep. And they, I like tractor pulls are actually very entertaining if you're into that kind of thing. But anyway, I was a farmer, so
the beard kind of gave it away. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But the thing is that those pictures. There's that giant box of photographs and stuff that nobody has looked at. Get them to actually talk about who these pictures are of. And what they were doing and what was going on at that time. You'll regret it later if you miss it.
Write it on the back of the photo. You're not damaging anything if you write on an old photo on the back of it. You're perfectly fine. Use a Sharpie or something that's not going to bleed through. But yeah, do yourself a favor, write on the back, because in 50 years somebody else is going to want that research information. It's nice if it's written on the back.
Yep.
Right. But it's interesting in a world that we take so many pictures now. I often wonder how the world in the future is going to deal with.
We'll lose most of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Most of the, again, coming from when photographs were extremely expensive to modern times when they cost nothing. I feel like we're going to have more of the really expensive photos still, and anything from modern we're going to lose.
Yeah, and there are photographic processes that are archival. You can do platinum metal prints and things like that, but they're very expensive. I've looked into doing some of that stuff myself, and it's just ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, well,
but and it goes for vintage computer equipment too. How many of us remember to actually document and on a label inside or whatever, put down what you've done with the thing, when you did it, why you did it, stuff like that.
I'll be honest, I'm terrible for it, but I write it right on the machine.
Well, and that's good, because at least somebody could open up and go, oh, this floppy drive was cleaned and whatever on this date. I know that Steve does it on all this stuff. But
when I recap a power supply, I'm like, date, time that it was recapped,
and what you did, somebody down the road's going to appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way: the rats at the dump are going to really appreciate it when it's all tossed out after you die.
Yeah. I'm writing Steve Jobs on all my stuff so that my kids can profit.
Rare. Flash, fire. I know what I have. Cool. But yeah, so that it's been a very interesting week. This is a really cool discussion. I like talking about some of this kind of stuff with you guys.
Yeah.
You see different perspectives. Yeah, and I guess it kind of also goes without saying that if you have somebody in your life who's has a history with technology, document it. Right? Like, you don't know how long these stories are going to last, and in the future, I don't know. Like, think about how many things are actually documented in our own little hobby. There are lots of things that have been lost to time, and they're not that old. Definitely make sure you document, especially if you like. I'm just thinking about the guy that I met from CVC who developed this thing for testing the radio sites using a Sim1 board.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm going to have to interview him at some point just to get that information and record it somewhere. So make sure that you document things.
Yeah. Ron did a great little interview with a professor at the college, right?
Yeah.
And all he did was, I loved the style that you did that in. So you didn't have like your awkward, poor recorded audio of you asking the questions.
Right.
I assume, because of the mic placement and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're not in a studio. So you focus on the subject and let them talk.
Yeah, it's basically how you can record, how you can shoot those things very easily is just like lock your camera down and then just you say, here's what we're gonna do. I've got like a couple questions. I'll ask you the question. I want you to internally just count to 3, and then you can start your answers. So that way that there's a little bit of a beat
Mhm.
on either side, and let them go.
Yeah, and it was excellent.
Yeah,
I loved
just
it.
talk as long as you want. I'm only going to ask you 3 questions. Talk as long as you want about any of those 3 things,
Cool.
and I'll grab some B-roll and stick the B-roll in there, and there you go. You're all set. It looked great.
So, does he keep the Lisa in his office?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So it's
'cause
just in his office.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
huge.
that's awesome.
It's huge. So it's a good a place as any. He also keeps his Mac TV in there as well.
Oh, cool.
So he has a Mac TV and with the keyboard and the mouse. I would like, yeah, that's an expensive little toy you have there. And he's got like a ton of Lisa stuff, or I'm sorry, he's got a ton of Newton stuff and,
Oh, cool.
and other Mac things and Apple II stuff. And actually, kind of recently, I fixed up a G3 iMac and took it to him because he was like, oh, I really wish I'd have got one of those like when they were on closeout. And I was like, no problem. So Alan and we fixed one up and took it over there one day. And he was like, wow, it's amazing. And so when it went by, he had it on top of a filing cabinet with the keyboard and the mouse and everything kind of just
That's awesome.
Staged up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Well, they're talking pieces, right?
Yeah.
I keep them in my classroom for the same purpose. You never know who you're going to strike up a conversation with about them. It's fun to have, right? As they say, don't keep your collection or your talents under a bushel basket. Put them out in the open where people can see and learn.
Keep your light under a bush. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, it's a great way to burn your bush, which would totally different stream. We'll talk about that later. So, gentlemen, is there anything else before we continue? End our stream today. Is there anything else we need to discuss, talk about? The meeting of the Midnight Society? No.
Should be okay. Yeah.
Ron, do you want to throw some of that sparkly stuff on the fire and make it turn a different color?
Oh yeah, I have some
Ari Afraid of the Dark
that loves to use that stuff. It's like
yeah, you can buy little packets of it.
She'll bring the box, and then over the course of a weekend, she's putting like 3 and 4 in at a time. And it's like I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Don't breathe too deeply.
Yeah, in the old days, you could just put like batteries in the
yeah,
or
like a
rubber hose,
not modern batteries, but
no.
Yeah.
Or
I saw somebody burning green lawn hose once because it happened to burn in a particular color. I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah,
I can tell you, timing belts for Volkswagens burn a beautiful blue.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm told. Not that
I'm told. Yeah.
Well, on that toxic note,
all right. I guess we'll end this. Everybody have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate having you here. We know you have your choice in Friday evening entertainment. And 4 guys sitting around yelling at each other is a great way to spend it. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So, Ron, you want to leave us with a pearl of wisdom?
I would say this: as you go through the hobby and you meet other people, especially young people, make sure that you are doing something to help them in the hobby, because if people do not come in that replace the people that are aging out, the hobby goes away. So find out if there's a computer club at local civic group or something like that. Volunteer. If they need equipment, donate equipment. But more than anything, donate your time.
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
Yep.
And be a good person. Anyway, everybody have a fantastic evening, and we will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Bye.